white boy!
Hello everyone, how is everything with you guys? I hope super well, but I finally decided to make this video. I bought these guys very shortly after Modern Horizons 3 came out, all things considered, because, man, I'm trying to be the serial numbered guy, man. I'm trying to be Himothy Jones, when it comes to these serial numbered Magic cards. And these are my favorite creatures, and it goes back a long time. I'll get into the semantics and who's it's and what's it's, but I guess it all begins when I first started playing Magic. Here, I'll set these down, zoom in a little bit, we'll make it look a little crisper. I guess it all goes back. It all started when I was born, but long story short, when I first started playing Magic, I started playing the last standard set to come out, I believe, was Khans of Tarkir. Because in Walmart, my first starter deck that I bought was the Gruul Khans of Tarkir starter deck, or whatever it was called. It might not be called the starter deck, I don't really know. All I know it was a pre-constructed deck that kinda sucked. But it worked well enough for my friends who were pretty much playing the exact same crap decks as me. And as I get further into it, I started off as a Gruul mage. I started playing and I thought the game was okay, and I had a good bit of fun playing. But before that, I was a Hearthstone player, and my favorite decks in Hearthstone were Druid and Control Warrior, because in Druid that was the green. It's pretty much Simic of Hearthstone, and then Control Warrior was get to late game, drop bombs, win game, or just don't lose. That was pretty much how Control Warrior won, is he didn't lose. And then the sets started coming out. I started to realize how often they made sets, the rules of the game and everything like that, and I was just sort of like, there's a new set, Zendikar or whatever. I don't even know if it was new. I was so bad with keeping up with this, and I still didn't really understand it. All I know is I saw Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger, for the first time, man. I saw all these Eldrazi. Man, I fell in love. Right then and there. I was like, this is my favorite creature type. They're just Eldritch Horrors that cost a shitload of mana, because I like ramp decks, and you ramp out, pay a shitload of mana, and you get some awesome ass, dope ass game winning creature. That's literally that's my crock of shit when I play card games. It's gotten to the point where I just like Magic so much that I can play any strategy and have fun. Like, I have a Sithis deck, Harvest Hand, and it's like a Boggles commander deck. That's honestly pretty good if you only really need to kill one person. It's a pretty powerful deck, but it's like I'll play green-white Boggles, enchantments, storm, draw cards, and I have like a mono-black Shieldred True Scriptures deck, and that's like one of the more casual things. I built Urza, Lord High Artificer. I built Edric, Spymaster Trest. Galazeth Prismari are also side-swiped into that while, playing Urza. It's practically the same deck, just with red and a little worse commander. I play all sorts of things. Super Friends I've been playing since way back in the day. I've never, taken apart that deck. I've changed a lot of cards, obviously, and upgraded them with time, especially with lands and new planeswalkers that come out, but that deck, I've never went a period of playing Magic where I didn't have a Super Friends deck at least partly constructed, ever. That deck is one of my magnum opuses, man. That deck is me, the same way Eldrazi's are just me. So just since I started playing, man, I really didn't like Magic all too much until I saw Ulamog the Ceaseless Hunger. It's gotta be my favorite card ever. It's just so iconic. It's so strong. It holds up. I mean, At the very least, if he gets countered and you exile 2 things, he's always 3 for 1. It's like, I just like the value of it, that everything cast triggers, stop counter spells. I like being rewarded for putting a lot of mana into spells, because I felt like when I played Hearthstone, I would play like a 9-10 mana guy and he just gets doom bladed essentially, and it's like, oh fuck. Or they just ran me over with like 2-cost creatures. I got like a 2-cost creature that's like a 6/6 now, because he played a bunch of death rattles so I can bring out your dead. The OGs of Hearthstone know what card I'm talking about. So it's Magic fit me more, because I felt like I got rewarded for playing expensive spells a lot better than at Hearthstone. And there was also like Goblins versus Gnomes was a dog shit set. That killed Hearthstone so much. That did irreparable damage to Hearthstone. Was Goblins versus Gnomes. It was like Ragnaros and like Mind Control Tech. Like that was RNG, but it like wasn't. You could play around Mind Control Tech, and Ragnaros was like mainly for YouTube highlights, kind of random. You killed something or dealt 8 to them. It wasn't like it did nothing or it didn't. But Goblins versus Gnome was literally like your card either does 2 damage or 4 damage. Like it was just blatant random nonsense crap, and it did irreparable damage to Hearthstone's reputation. It's funny how it came to like a Hearthstone video, but I needed these cards. Long story. Since I saw Emrakul, The World Anew was one of the first cards, if not the first card they spoiled, and they made it very apparent when they spoiled this card. The first version of it, to my knowledge, if I'm not mistaken, was the serial numbered version. So about late February, now that I'm in the know and I'm in the trenches of Magic information, to an extent. I mean, I'm a busy guy, but I know where to find the information. They spoiled that there would be serial numbered Eldrazi. And why would they do Emrakul and not the other two? I was a little disappointed in Wizards, to be honest, when there wasn't like serial numbered Null Drifter, serial numbered Myco Spawn. So that's a different topic, but I knew they would make all 3 Titans have a serial numbered. And from that very moment, I responsibly but adamantly saved up a shitload of money, as much as I reasonably could, without being irresponsible. I put money in my savings. I did this, I did that. All the good stuff you need to do. Paid my bills, obvious freakingly. But I saved as much as I could. It got to the point, man, where like, long story short, I was changing companies, had the same job, changing companies. I didn't use my vacation. I cashed out my vacation so I would have more money for these fucking cards. I really wanted them more than anything in the world, and I worked so hard to be able to justify it. And I sold the cards that I owned. I would have done it anyway, but I doubled down on working all the overtime that I possibly could have. I really just, owning these cards brings me so much happiness. It means so much to me. It really truthfully does. It's something I always liked rare Magic cards, even when I was a bum. And like just the fact that some of these cards were expensive and they were revered and like collectible, I loved it so much. I fell in love with the idea of the reserve list the second I found out about it. And it was just, man, I love collectibles. I love collecting cards in Magic, because there's the cheap cards you get to play with. There's cards that are 10 cents that are powerful as shit, like Land of War Elves and all these other kind of counter spell and blah blah blah. And then you got the cards for the collectors, man. The people who really love. I'm not gonna say you don't love the game if you don't buy cards like this, but for those who want to take their Magic collection beyond just playing the game and really like support someone, like someone had to open these and I paid them for it. So net good came from Wizards printing these, because someone got very lucky opening this and I was willing to pay them the money. I even messaged him. I said, man, good shit. Thank you for opening those. Like, I was like, congratulations, man. I'm glad that you opened those. I really wanted these. Like, because if no one opened them, then I wouldn't have got one, you know? And, you know, so it just, I'm really glad I got to make people's day and buy these off of them. And I'm really glad that they were willing to sell them to me. And I'm especially glad I was able to work and I was able to save up money, and I had the iron willpower to cash out on my vacation to buy these cards. It was definitely worth it. I never regretted it once to buy these cards, then have just like a week or two off, a week and some change. You know, it just was never, I never even thought about it, man. I like to work and I love Magic cards, and I got to do both. And I'm just so happy. I could go on forever about how amazing and how proud of myself I am for being able to own these. But with all things considered, buying them was blanket a lot of money. No matter how long I saved, even though I gave me like 4 months ahead of time to know, which I'm very thankful they did. If they just dropped them on me, I probably wouldn't have got them to own them if they just out of the blue did it. You know, which you should expect at this point for certain sets to have serial numbered cards. Like all the universes beyond sets are gonna have serial numbered cards. Like, you're smoking crack if you're gonna tell me that, you know, there wasn't gonna be any Assassin's Creed Fallout serial numbered cards. You know, hidden in the weeds of what they are and how many, that's sort of like the only debatable part. But if you're going to tell me there's no serial numbered cards in Final Fantasy, I would be shocked. I would be flabbergasted. But all good things must come to an end, and in a weird way it matured me a lot buying these cards, because I realized after buying these cards, like, man, if I really put my mind to it and I budget and I like do all these things, I can really save a good bit of money, like relatively quickly compared to most people, just because I'm so blessed to have overtime and consistent employment and, you know, a decent 40-hour check anyway. So I really, you know, made me count my blessings, and it also made me realize, like, all right, I gotta like buckle up. And I just want it to be known that, and said out loud, that I've saved like pretty much 3 times what I've spent on these cards, if not like a way more. Like, I have saved a lot of money since buying these cards. Like, this didn't like, I wouldn't want to sell them no matter what in the world happened, but I would rather like my family be good and like not be homeless than own these cards, you know what I mean? So, man, I just absolutely adore owning these cards. But all good things come to an end. I own them now. It's time to really buckle up, be an adult, do what I'm supposed to, make sure I keep them safe, and make sure that I do what I'm supposed to from here on out. And I just keep on keeping on, doing what I'm supposed to, saving my money as much as I can. I'm taking a hiatus from buying cards because I have a savings goal that I'm trying to hit, an objective number savings goal that doesn't change with the wind. So there's going to be no more cards like this coming into my collection for the time being. But we will see. I'm selling a lot of cards right now, my secret layer binder and everything like that. So stay tuned, man. And I'm very glad that someone's here to watch this. I'm very glad that I get to share these cards with you. Most people would never see these cards in their life, man, and I'm glad I get to talk about them and own them, and hopefully I inspire people to do good things and, you know, take care and take a semblance in their life and really sort of just help them figure out what to do. So I'm very glad for the opportunity to do such a thing. Thank you so much.